Are you thinking about getting a Cricut Joy and you want to hear the good and the bad before you buy? I'm sharing my honest review of the Cricut Joy to help you decide. Hi everyone, it's Holly here. Welcome back to my channel. I recently shared with you my experience of using the Cricut Joy for the first time as a complete beginner. The video goes over my first impressions, unboxing, setup, and creating my first projects. So I will include a link to that video above. It is a long video, and I know that we don't always have time to watch a 20-minute video to get our answer. So I wanted to make this video specifically addressing the pros and cons of the Cricut Joy. So let's get to the things that I do love. First is the size. This Cricut Joy is tiny. It is a little pocket rocket. It's perfect if you don't have a lot of space or if you don't have your own dedicated craft room. And aside from, the fact if you end up with a lot of materials, lots of vinyls, the compact size is really, really great. The size also makes it really portable. So that brings me to my next point as well, and possibly my favorite feature is that you can operate the Cricut Joy entirely from your phone. So the Cricut Design Space app allows you to quickly choose projects or create your own projects and hit go when you're ready to create. You don't need a computer. It works completely from Bluetooth. But if you do prefer to use a computer, the software is still available on PC and Mac as well. I really love that there's no huge setup time required. You can literally just make a card in under 5 minutes from start to go. The other great feature is the smart materials. So the smart materials are compatible materials that include vinyl and iron-ons along with other Cricut materials that you can use without needing a cutting mat. They have a special backing on them that eliminates the need for a mat, and that makes it one less step in your creative process. But you can still create with other materials using a Cricut Joy cutting mat too, such as cardstock and scrapbooking paper and other types of vinyls that you might already have in your craft collection. Okay, now let's talk about the cons, because nothing is perfect. So the biggest one is the fact that you are limited with the size of the project you can make with the Cricut Joy. So as you can see, the width of the cutting area is not that big. It's only 5.5 inches. So larger projects aren't always going to fit. You can cut up to 20 foot in length though, so if you get creative with how you position your project in the design area, you might be able to work around it with most projects. So for example, sometimes I'll split an image or a text block into sections rather than doing them all in the one design space, and that allows me to make each of those sections larger on the cutting mat area. This means you do have to be careful when you place them onto your project though, to make sure it all lines up properly. So especially if you're doing something like a fabric iron-on print, making sure that you've got your pieces in the correct place before you press down with the heat. So overall, not a huge deal for me because most of the projects I will be doing are smaller, but sometimes you do want to do those larger projects. So it is something to consider before you do buy. Perhaps that is justification for you to go for the next size up with the Cricut machines, to look at maybe the Explore or even going right to the top level with the Maker. But most people will find the Cricut Joy does more than enough for what they are looking for. The other thing that's not really a negative, but is something worth noting, is that you don't get a card mat or the longer size cutting mat with the Cricut Joy. You do need to purchase those separately. Not a big deal. They are inexpensive, and they're the type of accessories that you would expect to have to purchase yourself anyway. It does come with a small cutting mat, so you can easily use your own cardstock, scrapbooking paper, other vinyls with that mat as you're getting started. So as far as pros and cons go, there's definitely far more pros for using the Cricut Joy, and I do love how much this little machine can do. And especially the fact that it is so easy. Even my kids, who are aged 8 and 10 at the moment, they were able to use it with a bit of guidance. So that just goes to show how user-friendly it is. So I hope this has helped you with your own decision and as to whether or not the Cricut Joy is for you. So thanks again for watching, and I do hope you have found this informative, valuable, and you got some great tips out of it. And if you are hoping to see some more Cricut projects in future, be sure to subscribe, and I will be sharing heaps more in the coming weeks.